what's the philosophy of the team? What do you say to these guys? Because, you know, one of these four is going to be a national champion.
Yeah, I think the first thing is, you know, you have to believe. You have to believe that you belong as national champs, and then you go from there. But our preparation doesn't need to change in terms of what we've done to this point. We don't need guys to do extraordinary things. We just need them to continue to do what they're doing. But I think the most important thing is, at any cost, whatever it takes to go win, you do. So everybody has to be willing to do whatever it takes. You know, selfishness can't be in the way at this point. I mean, it has to be everybody on board, doing everything they can to win every play. And you talk about every yard mattering, every first down mattering, every series mattering. That's going to be the case here. And so all hands on deck, got to be really efficient, and we have to believe we can win the whole thing.
Front row right, Jim?
Yeah, right. When you go against a Venables defense, can you pull your hair out almost trying to find tells, clues, etc., of what's coming? I mean, just sort of what's kind of the approach you have to take as you're preparing for that kind of defense?
There's a lot that goes into it. You know, you got to do a great job with the scout teams. You got to do a great job and give them a clean plan, and then you just go about the business of continuing watching film, doing a great job with the scout team, giving the guys the blitz patterns, and then communicating and practicing at a high level.
You know, you've been here almost to the day after 31-0 out there. What has changed about your this offense now that's better suited to play Clemson in this kind of setting? I mean, over these 3 years, what do you think you guys have really established?
You know, again, I wasn't here, and I wasn't in that game, and
Right.
I actually really didn't watch that game all that much. But I know that, you know, I'm proud of what we've done in terms of the last couple of years. We've kind of adapted both of the offenses to who we've had. You know, it's been JT, it's been Dwayne, and now it's Justin. And you know, I think that, you know, the offenses really fit who the quarterbacks are really well and their strengths. Yeah. And I think, you know, for the most part, we're taking care of the football. We play with good tempo. We stay on schedule, try to be, you know, penalty free, and then play well in the red zone. And as long as you can do those things right there and stay on schedule, you know, you're going to score points. And then when you compare that with the defense and complement that with the special teams, then you got a chance to win a game.
One last quickie. When you send these guys home for a couple of days on Wednesday, what will be your instructions to them? Obviously, you want them to enjoy time with their family, but they're not going to be home for Christmas. You know,
Right.
I mean, just what do you want them to think about?
Yeah, well, I think, again, you want to rest, and that's what it comes down to. The idea of sending them home to be with their families, get away for a little while, because, again, after a long season, you know, you need a little bit of a break, and they won't be home for Christmas. So I think it's the right thing to do, and they show up in Arizona energized. But as much as they're relaxing in the back of their mind, they know they got a job to do, and so when they arrive on Sunday, it's all hands on deck, and we have all week to prepare.
Second row left, Ari?
Hey Ryan, even as recently as last year, like you were like Jeff Hafley, right? Like you were a young, solid mind in that field, and people were excited about you, and you even had job offers to leave earlier than what happened here at Ohio State. I was wondering your personal experience being in the same exact position, and ironically enough, he's at a place that you once coached. How did that put you in a position to help not only understand the position he might be in, but guide him?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough this time of year especially, but Jeff's a pro, and he understands, you know, how to compartmentalize things, and he'll do a great job of that. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, I thought Jeff handled it the right way. You know, we got through the Big Ten championship game, won the game, and then he kind of went about his business of going after that. It wasn't during the rivalry week. It wasn't during championship week where he was really spending a lot of time doing that. You know, I thought, you know, his dedication with these players in his program for the opportunities he gave him, and I thought he handled that the right way. And he's going to a great place. Boston College is a great place. Obviously, I was there for 9 years and had my master's degree there with great people there. And so, you know, between Martin Jarman and Father Jack and Father Leahy, I mean, they'll do something good there, and you know, he'll do a good job. But you know, he's going to finish out the season with us, and you know, hopefully it's after the national championship. And he's going to have to dual role a little bit, but yeah, they have a guy on their staff who's doing the same thing, and it's kind of the way it goes.
You know, when colleges make transitions, maybe not smaller colleges, but like places like Ohio State and even Florida State and some of the places that have had openings the last few years, there's this like idea that they should hire a person to make a big splash, or a brand name, or somebody who's exciting. And I'm wondering, based on just the playoff field, having 4 coaches that were all promoted with him, and you being one of them, how important do you think that is to be a part of a program beforehand? How did that change the way that you found success here? Just the whole deal of just being promoted from within? Is that
That's a great question. You know, I think that that's one of the reasons why we've had so much success here was that when Gene Smith decided to stay within the program and keep some continuity within the program and keep it the way it was, I thought that was a huge decision by him. And it was a little risky, call it for what it is. I mean, first time head coach at Ohio State, for him to take a chance with me here. Well, again, I can't never say enough of what he did in making that decision, but that had a huge part of this and keeping the continuity there and promoting from within. When you look at some of the great organizations, not only in football, that's how they keep success going is doing that and not starting over from scratch. And so, I think that's great leadership and great AD. Making a decision to keep it within house, and then you look at what Lincoln's done, you look what Dabo's done. I mean, you look what Ed Orgeron's done. I mean, you look at those guys; they've done a great job within that, and I think that has a big part of why it's been so successful.
I know. Just one last quick one, but there was a world where you could have been at a place like BC last year, right? And I'm wondering, based on the experience that you've had right now and where you are, do you ever think about what it would have been like had you had to start somewhere new, somewhere fresh, maybe somewhere that didn't have all the built-in foundational things that have been built here, but just like being the big hotshot name that got hired to go somewhere else, what that would have been like and how much more challenging maybe that would have been?
Yeah, I think every situation's different, and you just do the best you can to try to figure out what's right at the place you're at, and every situation's different. And so Jeff's going to be going into a situation that's very different than the situation I walked into, and doesn't make it easier, doesn't make it harder, it's just different. And you do the best you can to figure out what's right, and then you trust your gut and you go with it.
Front row left. Nathan?
Any sense right now of where things are physically for Sean Wade and how much has he had to kind of gut things out here these last couple weeks?
Yeah, no, he's been doing a good job, and getting a lot of rest here. So as we get going in practice today and this week, we'll probably have a better idea where he's at.
And as far as when you have a guy who is so, with Hafley, so critically involved in recruiting, especially a position as important as defensive backs for this class, how awkward is that here for these few days? How do you guys sort of figure out how much he's still involved and how much you don't want him involved and that sort of thing?
No, it's not awkward. These guys chose this school for for Ohio State, and for what we're doing on defense, and that the defense isn't going to change. And, I've talked to recruits about that it's my job to go find the best in the country, and I felt like I did that last year. I'm going to do it again this year. We're not going to change the defense. The defense is a vision that I had from early on when this whole thing started. And, Ohio State's been here a lot longer than Jeff Hafley, and it's going to continue to be great. And, Coach Hafley was a big part of the reason they came here, but it wasn't the only reason. And so, our guys have been strong in their response, and they're excited to sign on Wednesday.
Front row right. Austin?
Ryan, are these